So next up, we've got Patrick Talbot from ORR. So Patrick, over to you, please.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the introduction. My name's Patrick Talbot. I am a railway safety inspector at the Office of Rail and Road, which is the independent economic and safety regulator for Britain's railways. My background is that I lead ORR's specialist inspection team that covers international and high-speed operators. So I work very closely with the French government on regulating the safety of the Channel Tunnel. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the features of a positive safety culture. And what are those key pillars, those key elements that will really lead to a truly effective safety culture in an organisation? Can I have the next slide, please? So there are many ways of defining a safety culture, but for the purposes of my presentation, I think I'm going to use a very broad description, which is really the way that an organisation does things, the way that we do things around here. Now, safety culture is very much linked to organisational and health and safety management performance. And indeed, those organisations with a positive safety culture tend to show much higher levels of performance, both in health and safety management, but also as an organisation as a whole. Now, it is very clear, and history tells us, that poor safety culture is often a contributory factor in many incidents. If we look at those epoch-defining safety events, the Piper Alpha, the King's Cross Underground fire, the Herald of Free Enterprise, poor safety culture was considered to be a significant contributory factor to those incidents. So then, looking at the features of a positive safety culture, we at the Office of Rail and Road, we consider that a positive safety culture is built around 4 pillars: around reporting, just culture, flexibility, and learning. Can I have the next slide, please? So now, to look at each of these concepts in a bit more detail, I'm going to start with a reporting culture. This is about having a culture where people are encouraged and they're willing to look out for and report safety concerns and it becomes a routine. It's about having those effective reporting systems that are easy to use. They ensure that the information gets to the right people, and equally importantly, the feedback loop is closed. And that means that the reporter is provided with information on how the issues that they've raised is being addressed. Looking on to the next feature, this is about just culture. Just culture is, of course, getting the balance right between a blame culture that often encourages negative, wrong behaviours, and also the balance, and also a no blame culture, which if used incorrectly can also lead to sloppiness, inconsistencies, people not deliberately not following processes. This is ultimately about creating the right environment where people feel that they can raise concerns in a safe and appropriate manner, but also about setting clear standards around acceptable and unacceptable behaviours and conduct, and holding people to account when they fail to meet those. Can I have the next slide, please? The next pillar, of course, is around flexibility, creating a flexible culture. This is about empowering decision makers and empowering staff to make decisions at the right level, and empowering them to make the right decisions at the right time, giving people the confidence to operate safely, and particularly in situations where there may need to be a deviation from those standard operating procedures. The transport sector, the rail sector, relies very heavily on people following standard operating procedures, following rules. But equally, we need to acknowledge that there will be times when people will have to deviate from those. And a flexible culture allows workers to make those decisions based on their experience, but ensure that they make those decisions in a safe manner. Finally, a learning culture. A learning culture is all about understanding that an organization operates in a dynamic environment and that circumstances will change. And it's about focusing on individuals learning, but the organization also learning. This involves making the use of reporting systems and also seeing incidents as an opportunity to improve and make things better. Above all, communication is key in any learning culture. Can I have the next slide, please? So, in conclusion, around creating a positive safety culture, this isn't a quick process or a one-off activity. It requires long-term, sustained commitment from leaders at all levels in the organization, and it involves worker involvement, again, at all levels throughout the organization, with communication being key throughout. So finally, a positive safety culture is a sign of a mature health and safety management system. Now, I know you're going to hear a bit later on from a colleague from the rail industry about the use of a tool that the Office of Rail and Road has developed to assist organisations in assessing and improving their maturity in health and safety management. But an organisation that is mature in terms of its health and safety management system is also going to be an organisation that is an effective organisation more widely. And so that very briefly in around 10 minutes is a view of how the Office of Rail, of the features that the Office of Rail and Road feels will contribute to developing a positive safety culture. So thank you very much.